Here's my loaner car. It's a Model S. Just picked it up. Everything went well with the experience here so far, and they're going to contact me later today. Actually, there's the service center over here. There it is, back there. I was just over there. My car is still there.
Turn right on Westgate Road.
Anyway, I'll let you know about this car in a few minutes. It's a little bit different setup, at least the dashboard. The controls are a little bit different. They look a little, they look a little dated, I guess, compared to mine. And of course, the interior is set up a little bit different. It's got leather. You know, mine is vegan, no leather. And it's interesting, it looks like this does not have the auto high beam feature, because right now the headlights are on as they go on automatically. Then when I hit the high beam, it just goes on high beam. It shouldn't be going on high beam. There's way too much light around here. So I'm guessing it either doesn't have the upgrade, or it's not, you can't get it on this model. I don't know which. And maybe it just didn't have the software update yet. I don't know. Okay, in terms of the driving feel, I can tell you this does feel a bit quicker than my Model X, if only slightly. It definitely feels lower to the ground, which it is, less roomy, lower center of gravity, but also I'm feeling like the ride is harsher on this. I don't know if this is the performance model or not. I'll have to find out. I didn't even bother to look when I left. But I'm definitely thinking that I really like the ride on the Model X better than the ride here.
Exit 2 exits 1B8,
and
40, Durham, Raleigh.
You also need to remember that on the Model X, all Model X's have air suspension. This one I'm guessing probably doesn't. I don't even know. I haven't checked it out on the screens for the displays yet. But it's probably the spring suspension. But I can tell you that the air suspension definitely is a more compliant, pleasing ride, if that's what the difference here is. Actually, it looks like this has the air suspension on it. And also, I don't know why, but in my camera when I'm recording this, it looks like there's a low refresh rate, like it's flickering. I don't know if it comes out that way on the actual final video, but it doesn't do that on mine. Maybe they use a newer technology. I don't know. A better technology on the newer screens. But you can see it's got adjustments here, so it must be, let me see if I lower it down. Yeah, I can feel that going down. Let me put it back, put the very high. High, very high. Well, either way, I can feel it doing what it's doing here. I can go very high. Yeah, this is air suspension. So it is air suspension, yet I can tell you that the tuning is different on this car, and it definitely feels like a harsher ride. It could be because it has the lower profile tires. It might have the bigger diameter rims. That could have to do with it too. I know people have commented that the larger rims with the lower profile tires do provide a harsher ride. But I think also the suspension settings on this, they definitely feel different. They're not like the Model X. It's definitely more performance handling type setup. Okay, so I can see now that I've got just a regular Model S 85, so no performance, no all-wheel drive, but it does feel a little quicker, like I said, than my Model X P90D. It's also considerably lighter weight and lower to the ground, so I know that has something to do with it. But you know, aside from that, it's got the air suspension. You know that as the option, which is nice. But again, it does ride a little firmer. But if you want a lower to the ground sports type car, this is definitely it. All right, so here is the loaner I'm driving. It is it's an 85, regular 85, like I mentioned. Rear drive. It's got the sunroofs too. It's got the all glass sunroofs. I think only one of them moves. Oops, and there. Those just popped out. I guess as you approach the car, I'm not used to that. They just pop out. Another thing I noticed on this car is that the windshield wipers aren't hidden when they're not being used, like on the X. You see this little thing sticking up. I guess like you do on most cars, but I guess it's really cool on the X that they completely disappear. It just has a better look to it. Hey, you can see my car has the older front end on it. And actually I looked up on the rocker panel or inside the door, and it says this was built in July 2014. See how those handles just popped out when I walked up? That's pretty cool. Let's take a look under the frunk, because I have a feeling since this is the older nose, non-AutoPilot version. Let's see, how do I open the frunk here? There we go. non-AutoPilot version is probably got a much bigger frunk. Yeah, and it does. Look at that. That's a lot of space. Hey, the neat feature here on the S I do like is this little gauge here where you're using power, you're using electricity, let go, you're charging. It goes back and forth. That's pretty cool. I like that. I also noticed one thing on this S, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, that you don't get as much regenerative braking on this. You get regenerative braking, but not to the degree that you do in the X or I guess any dual motor Tesla, because this is a single motor rear-wheel drive.